The following lesson is linked to Learning Outcome 3, Writing and Presenting. It addresses the assessment standard that requires learners to demonstrate planning skills for writing for a specific purpose, audience, and contexts. It also requires learners to explain the requirements of a familiar range of tasks. Learners should be able to decide on and apply the appropriate style, point of view, and format of texts. They should also be able to research topics from familiar sources and record their findings.
Hi, welcome to our third lesson on summarizing. Today, the focus will be on how to summarize information for a particular purpose. This skill is useful in many different situations, such as taking notes in meetings or lectures, and also when you write your own study notes as you research from books or the internet. Being able to summarize information for a particular purpose is also often tested in exams. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to write a point form summary and write a selective summary. Summarizing involves a range of skills. You're not just writing information in a shortened version, but you're also demonstrating that you're thinking logically and that you understood what you read. Remember, a summary checks the following questions. Do you understand what you read? Can you express that understanding? And can you organize your answer clearly and logically? Can you see now that a summary requires you to think very carefully about what you've read? Remember that it's important to always read with your brain as well as your eyes. You need to think about what the writer of the text is saying and what the central message is. If you do this, you'll be able to determine the key message and put this in summary form. A summary gives only the most important part of a passage. There's some basic information that you need in order to write a summary. Obviously, you'll have to leave some information out, but how do you work out which information is of greater importance and which of less importance? Here are some guidelines to help you. Summaries leave out any repetition and adjectives unless they are of unusual importance. Adjectives help to set the scene by describing people and places. Now, these add certain interest to the writing, but they're not essential, so for a summary, they can be left out. Here's an example. Don't write, "She sang all day long," but do write, "She sang." You can still work out what's going on without the description. So what else can you leave out of text without altering the meaning? Leave out all examples. Let's now read through this short passage and see if we can determine which is the essential information and which are the examples and illustrations that can be left out. South African learners are becoming increasingly computer literate, and many could even teach adults the basic skills of accessing information from the internet and using short messages on cell phones. How could you summarize this? What information would you leave out? If we left out examples and illustrations, our summary would read, South African learners are becoming increasingly computer literate and could even teach adults more about using technology. This still covers the same key concepts, but the sentence is much shorter. Now, did you notice that I changed the wording slightly? This is the next key summarizing skill that I want you to master. A summary should be written in the words of the person writing it, not in the words of the original selection. The idea of a summary is to show that you understand the text, so it's essential that you use your own words. Never use the words of the original text, except for a few key words that you might find indispensable. If you cannot translate the ideas into your own language, you do not understand very well. Right, now that you know some of the key elements of writing summaries, let's look at a step-by-step guide to writing a summary. Try to remember these steps, and you may want to use a mind map to help you remember. But if you look carefully at them, you'll see that they're fairly logical. Skim the text once or twice. Read rapidly to gain some idea of the outline of the text. Scan the text once or twice. Read purposefully to find the topic sentences. If you're allowed to use a dictionary, look up any words which you don't understand. And lastly, read the text at least twice. You need to understand the meaning of the facts and information and the relationships between the words. An expression came up in the steps that you may not be familiar with. Topic sentence. A topic sentence is the main sentence of a paragraph that contains essential information. Identifying a topic sentence is a useful exercise because often the other sentences in a paragraph contain information that is less essential or examples that can be left out. Now, the other steps in summarizing have also been planned to help you read more carefully. If you follow these steps, you should find that you understand the text. If you don't understand the text, it will be very difficult to summarize it. You should only start writing once you have read and understood the text. These are the next steps that you would follow in writing a summary. Underline the topic sentences of each paragraph. Highlight the important data in each topic sentence. Delete repetition or unnecessary examples. Cross out less important details. And provide a title. Well, you're probably wondering, why is it so important to provide a title? Why can't you just use the title from the original text? Well, if you provide a title, it's a good way of checking to see if you've understood the passage, because a title should express the basic themes or main idea. Now let's see if we can do this by looking through an article from the Sunday Times. There's no science laboratory at Equinisweni Secondary School in Ivory Park, but that hasn't stopped it beating dozens of other schools to a top science prize. The school, which lies deep in the dusty township, regularly produces distinctions in science, with some of its pupils winning bursaries. Let's put the step-by-step guide into action now. We've already read through the passage. Let's see if we can identify the topic sentence. Can you identify the topic sentence? Where is the essential information? Ah, here it is. The entire first paragraph is the topic sentence. It tells us what the whole article is going to be about. A school that has achieved in science despite not having resources. Now that we've identified the topic sentence, let's underline the key information in the paragraph. In the first sentence, the key points are no science laboratory, Equinisweni Secondary School, and science prize. In the second sentence, the key points are distinctions and bursaries. Now that you know what to do, let's look at the next paragraph and see if you can identify the key points contained in it. This week, Principal Mpokutau said the school was thrilled to have won the Gauteng Most Improved School for Science. "We're very excited," Tao said. "It's encouraging because all of us now know that the whole world knows we are doing well." The information you should have selected is, the school won the Gauteng Most Improved School for Science. Although the principal's name and his reaction to winning the award are interesting, they are not essential to understanding the key idea of the article. Here's the next paragraph. See if you can identify the key information contained in it. Education Minister Kader Asmal gives the awards each year to those schools whose matric results show constant improvement. In this paragraph, we learn that the Education Minister gives the award each year. Details such as the minister's name and what the award is for are not so important. Now that we've practiced extracting the information, let's see if we can write it down in a point form summary. A point form summary requires you to write down the information in numbered points. This means that you will number the main points, but you must use full sentences. Let's now complete the summary in point form. 1. Eqinisweni Secondary School won a top science prize even though it does not have a science laboratory. 2. The Gauteng Most Improved School for Science Award is given annually by the Education Minister. Can you see that the information is condensed and that only the most important facts have been included? The wording has also changed, but it is still understandable. This point form summary contains all the key points in the article, but sometimes a summary requires you to focus on a selected part. This is known as a selective summary. A selective summary is when only one aspect of the article is focused on. The writer ignores all other parts of the article. If we had decided to focus on the part about the Education Minister, then we would have left out the details about the school having no science laboratory. This would then be a selective summary. In other words, we would have chosen to include some information only. Now you're going to write your own summaries. Look in the newspaper and find an article which interests you. Write a point form summary of that article. When you do this, follow the steps which you have learned today. Choose one aspect of that article only and write down a summary of that part only. You now know how to write a point form summary and a selective summary. Remember, you must use your own words and always check to see that you've included all the important information. That's all for today. See you next time.